Alright, we are back, almost done with this horror scene. I need to pose the hands. I went ahead and gave this guy socks off stream, just because I had a pair of socks I'd already modeled from another character, and it's such a little tiny piece in there, so he's got an ankle and feet now, so the shoes are connected to the body. I need to get these hands placed, and I have some pre-modeled hands that I'll just need to pose and then like re-sculpt the details. But yeah, we're bringing this plane in for landing, and I'll probably go through and do like a tertiary detail pass, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how detailed this needs to be for the print, but I've spent all this time. I might as well try to make it super cool. Yeah, so I already started posing this this other hand I've kind of left alone for a while. So I guess I can finish doing that. And I'm just kind of, something like that, right? So middle finger, pointer finger are going to be mostly straight. Pinky is bent the way I already got it. And then ring finger is going to be bent just a little bit. So I'm going to turn on polygroups. You can see I made these hands really strategically. So all my different polygroups are the different knuckles. And then I can just use my Z modeler brush, which I already have selected. And I can mask by polygroup. And then I can switch over to my move tool. I'll hit Alt to put my handle right on that knuckle. And then again, I'll just kind of pose my own hand, kind of reaching out. So this is going to get a slight angle, much less than the pinky, just a little guy. Then I'll grab my Z modeler, mask this one out. Whoops. Grab my move tool, put it on the knuckle, get that handle aligned, and same thing. So this will be a little bit more bent. Something like that. Switch over to my Z modeler, mask it out. Whoops. Wow. Mask it out, back to my move tool, back to this knuckle, fix my handle, rotate it down kind of like that, and then I just got to take my smooth tool and fix the geometry, which I also need to finish doing over here. Yep, I can just smooth all that out, and it kind of leaves a nice crease on the bottom, which is nice. You can see if I get rid of that mask, smooth these out, it kind of leaves a nice little crease where those knuckles are. And then I'll just have to go back in when I'm done and fix anything that gets a little wonky with these hands. Like you can see, we kind of lost that knuckle. That's those ones. Yeah, I think the lead fingers are actually going to rotate in the other direction. And it'll just be the same thing. I'll just go ahead, mask out the entire finger to start. What up, Sleepy? Let me know if you got any animation or game dev questions. I'll invert that mask, I'll grab my move tool, I'll put it on the knuckle, I'll fix my handle, and then yeah, this looks like it come up just like ever so slightly, just a little teeny tiny bit. Z modeler, Move tool, Alt. And then this rotates down just a little bit, kind of like that. Grab my Z modeler. Mask that out. Grab my move tool. Place my handle. And then this gets bent quite a bit. I might push it out a little bit too, just make it smooth a little nicer. And then I can get rid of my mask. And all these hands, they'll kind of rotate a little bit towards the middle finger. But since she's scary, having that broken the wrong direction might actually look kind of nice. So go ahead, just wash, rinse, repeat, mask out the whole finger. I'm going to be posing. Change over to my handle. I'm gonna fix the splay on these fingers a little bit, so I'm gonna, invert my mask first. Just bring that out a little bit. Yeah, that's gonna look a bit nicer. And then this also rotates up the most. That one's like actually coming up from the hand. And the other knuckles will have a very, very slight bend to them. Grab that Z modeler. W. Fix the handle so it's kind of aligned with the finger. Very slight bend. Z modeler. Mask. W. Very slight bend. Let me kind of see how that finger is looking from this angle. Looks like I can go a little bit more. And to be honest, I think that finger can come up even more, so I'm going to just get rid of everything I have masked right now. Grab that Z modeler, remask all this back out. So I'm going to want to move that whole ass finger again. Control to invert the mask, W, grab my transpose tool, hold Alt to readjust the orientation, and that'll actually come up a little bit more like that. And I'm just trying to get a nice silhouette, so I might really bend it, something like that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. So I'll turn off my polyfill, grab my smooth brush, get rid of my masks, and just smooth all that out. Yeah, that knuckle got really broken. These didn't move all that much. That all got pretty janky. Yeah, and then real quick, I'll just grab like my clay buildup brush, which is BCB if you want to know the shortcut. I have it mapped to a custom key, so for me, it's just the number 2. But yeah, I can come in here and kind of build these back up. I might even just grab my move brush and, you know, get that back into a straight line. Maybe smooth her on out a little bit. Same thing, this knuckle got pretty much ruined, so grab my clay buildup brush, just kind of sculpt that puppy back in there. Maybe fake some of those extensor attachments. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool, pretty scary. I think the thumb probably should get bent a little bit, so I can go in and pose that real quick. Honestly, I don't think this needs posed, but probably, honestly, probably even if I just bend the end of the thumb a little bit, I think that's gonna help me a lot. So we'll move our transpose, get it lined up properly again, and then I'll invert my mask and just bend that sucker down. And then obviously I'll come in and get rid of my mask and smooth it on out. Woo! I could probably solo this so I'm not having to fight the other objects in the scene, but whatever, we're almost done with it. Just kind of smooth that out. Yeah, so now you can kind of see no matter which way I orbit this, we kind of have an interesting silhouette. And it feels like that hand's actually doing something instead of just default sculpt pose. The other thing I gotta do with this hand, which I believe I already did with the other hand. Yes, I did. I gotta give it some nails. Some big ol' scary nails. There's a couple different ways I could go about this. What up, Morty? Let me know if you got any animation or game dev questions. Any tips for navigating the multiverse with an alcoholic grandfather? And to get those big, gross, scary, demonic nails, I think I'm just gonna mask out the fingernails and grab them with my transpose and just yank them on out. Just gotta make sure everything's lined up the way I want it to be. Yeah, we can just do something like that. And then when I smooth it, it'll probably smooth it to a point, which will be nice. So I'll grab. Yeah. And I can even probably just yank it with the move tool and pinch it a little bit so it gets nice and sharp at the end. That might be a little bit too much. Yes, sir. And then I'll do that with all the nails. Just get those nice, scary hands. I also, while I'm in here, I think I probably want to build up those knuckles a little bit again. Something like that. And I can dig out the end of the nail with my damn standard tool just to make that a little bit more dramatic. That's probably too much. Smooth that back out. And we'll see. Maybe I'll end up remeshing this. I'm starting to get to the point it doesn't really matter. Just as long as none of the geometry is broken or overlapping, it should 3D print. We'll see how 3D printing these nails goes. Yeah, it'll be real interesting. It'll be real interesting. Those are gonna be pretty fragile. I would not be surprised if those just break off. I also, you can see if you look up here, I'm chilling at like 52 million polygons right now, which is way too much. So it'll be interesting to see when I merge all this shit and get it combined into one solid object. It'll be pretty interesting to see how low I can decimate it before printing without losing details, because I definitely don't want to send this file to the 3D printer with fucking 52 million polygons. I just don't think it's gonna work. I could be wrong. I'm actually not an expert on 3D printing. I got some friends who are gonna help me out, so you know, I'll definitely like ask them, but I just have a feeling it's gonna be too many polygons. Yeah, look at that. That's a really nice nail. Grab my damn standard again, and we can just etch out that little piece one more time. Hell yeah. Alright. And just wash, rinse, repeat for these last, well, 3 nails. I gotta do the thumbnail too. Then we can get on to something else, do something more interesting. Maybe I'll model the belt loops and belt buckle today. I think those are the last two things I actually have to like model from scratch at this point. So move my manipulator, my transpose, get it lined up the way I want it to go, and yank this motherfucker out. Wow! Alright. Grab normal tools, smooth this out a little bit. Grab my pinch brush. Pinch the tip a little bit. Maybe I'll smooth that out a little bit more. I kind of want that to be even a little bit longer, so I'll just grab it with my grab brush. Grab a damn standard and carve that shit out. What? Beautiful, wow. Wow, look how scared that guy is. I'd be pretty scared too if a fucking ugly ass long-nailed demonic nun was jumping out of the trees at me. I'd probably be pretty scared. Alright, go ahead, mask this one out. Oh, I see we got some people popping in on YouTube. Drop any questions you got in the chat. I love to answer animation and game dev questions, but I'll talk about anything y'all want me to answer. I don't really care. I'm a pretty open book. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yank that sucker on out. Same thing. This one actually looks pretty good already. I don't even know if I need to pinch it really. I probably will a little bit just because it makes it sharper, but yeah, look at that. Gross. You could do
Choose that playground raided you.
You could do cocaine off that nail. Alright. One more. One more, and then I'll model some belt loops or something. We'll see.
Welcome Charmenzu_.
GZ Clay. Oh shit, a raid. Alright, okay.